Hi, everybody. This is Will, and we have Christian here with me tonight. Just the two of us.
Yeah, just like
And
old times.
welcome to our anniversary episode. Christian, it's been a
Yeah,
year.
a whole fucking year. I
Isn't that
think
crazy?
this will release the day on the 3rd, so the day before
Day before.
our anniversary release.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't honestly believe we're still doing this.
How fast time? I mean, a part of it is just getting to talk and hang, but it's fun. I don't know. Like, it's kind of escape, if that makes sense.
Oh, totally.
So I've enjoyed it. I hope our great listeners, though few,
Yeah.
have enjoyed it, and excited to keep more coming. Christian, we'll start it off. What are you wearing? What are you drinking?
Yeah, I tried to find our first episode and couldn't in the time that we decided to do this to see what watch I was wearing. So instead, I'm wearing my G-Shock, which is the first watch I bought because of this podcast. Of course, the white G-Shock, we've seen it a whole bunch. And then I'm drinking a Sippin' Pretty because it's probably what I was drinking at the beginning too. Something nice and easy. How about you?
One of our listeners will greatly appreciate that. Well, I'm throwing it back. I'm 90% sure I was wearing my Movado in the first episode.
Yeah, that sounds right.
If I wasn't, then it is my first watch that got me into watches. So I'm wearing the Movado today, and as it shouldn't be a surprise, throwing it all the way back a little to tequila to cap off
for tradition.
I think I have a shot of it left, and you know what?
Really?
I have Casamigos out. But one moment here. One moment.
Oh, okay. I don't know what he's getting. I hope it's like a celebratory liquor. I wish I had like champagne or something. But I'll be honest, whomever's listening, we didn't really prep this super well. The first 15 minutes of our initial recording, we were figuring out what we're going to talk about. So we're in for, honestly, a very classic episode where it's just the two of us talking about watches that we like.
Well, I'm back, and I'll tell you what, if this helps at all, I've got the Clase Azul.
Wow, excellent. The sound, I'm going to be honest, didn't help at all.
That's the ring of the bell.
There's a bell on Clase Azul?
Of course. The top is a bell. When you take a shot, you hit it.
Is it really?
Yeah, that's why it's metal on top.
I don't think I've ever held a bottle of it.
They're gorgeous bottles. I think they technically, like, if the bottle itself resells for a little bit, but
really, well, it's a nice way to celebrate our anniversary. Will.
Yeah. Well, there's sushi involved later, but
Yeah, it's I'd like to say it's been a big year. It really hasn't. It's been a very neutral year for us, but I love what we're doing, and we're finally starting to pick up some steam. So we'll talk about like watches and wonders today because we haven't touched on it at all. But I do want to shout out to Christopher Ward. They are the first brand. I say brand specifically because Right Time Watches has always supported us. But Christopher Ward's the first brand that's going to send us watches for review. And so we'll start seeing those up on the YouTube channel here shortly. Yeah, thank you so much for your support, and for everybody who's listening, go check out Christopher Ward.
Yeah, and if you haven't, our YouTube has great content. I think it grows pretty rapidly, honestly, and our Instagram has always been growing. I think we do good content there, so please check us out on those mediums.
All under half passed out.
Yeah, a lot of this is a very visual experience with watches in the first place. So we do our best to keep the audio interesting.
Yeah.
But if you do have interest in the rest of that, we do good work on there, and I would recommend. It's all, again, at Half Passed Out, whether that's YouTube or Instagram. Yeah. We had a Twitter. I dropped the ball on that. It doesn't really exist.
I forgot we had a Twitter.
Yeah.
Can we call it Twitter still?
It's X. It's X.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't think we need to do that anymore. I don't feel like supporting it.
That's fair. Well, I'm gonna take my shot, and
while you're doing that, I'm gonna plug our Patreon right up front.
Yeah,
because we are trying to get out to Wind Up this year, or some like watch shows. We want to start traveling and doing more stuff. If you guys can support us on Patreon, we'd really appreciate it. $5 a month gets you into the Discord, gets you into the pre-show. We'd love to chat with you. We want to start building a community, and anybody who's willing to support us, thanks.
God, that's good tequila.
I'm surprised you didn't sip it. It seems like a sipping tequila.
It really is. It's honestly one of the few tequilas that I would consider a sipping tequila. I'm not really a sipping tequila person. Clase Azul and Casamigos, the Añejo in particular, I don't very much like the Blanco. The Añejo with On the Rocks can be very good to enjoy just at pace, but I don't want to have a ton to drink, so a shot's good for me.
Fair enough.
Just like the old days, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, well, let's jump into it. I think we're talking mostly about watches and wonders. Is there anything you want to get into before we do?
Not in particular. I really am glad we got to shout out the new partnership with Christopher Ward. Please look out for that on YouTube. I think it'll be a really good piece. So keep your eye out for that. But let's get into watches and wonders. Let's get into the watch world. We've done so much with Watch Madness and everything. Let's go back to the roots. Let's go on Watch News.
Yeah. Of course, Watches and Wonders, by the time this is recorded, I think is a full month. We are not behind. We're fashionably late.
We're watch late.
Yeah. I think first things first, we need to talk about Rolex. 2023, when we first started this, Rolex had like a pretty chaotic release with their really weird dials. They dropped the Milgauss.
That parade thing.
Yeah.
Birthday thing.
This was a much more toned down release from Rolex, but they have put out, I think, one of mine and Will's favorite watches from Rolex in a long time. You want to talk about it, Will?
Yeah, absolutely. And to preface, Rolex also has a few other like re-releases of the GMT and stuff that you expect. And honestly, I'm not all that excited over. But
you can check out our Watch News video for details on that.
Yeah. The one piece I loved that Rolex came out with was the Rolex Platinum. It's a perpetual 1908, and it is beautiful. It is this not Tiffany blue, platinum blue, more really, and the dial, unique to Rolex. Rolex really doesn't do, with the exception of last year, really doesn't go into a lot of dial change.
Yeah,
they like to keep it simple. The pride is in the finish and the movement and everything. So to see a dial change in here is gorgeous. I think perpetuals, I've been on record saying that they're very boring. This is a throwback kind of watch to the 1908 collection. And I think we're also on record usually praising any heritage style things. So this dial, to explain it, is, what would you call that?
The term for like the watch fans out there, it's a guilloche. For everybody who doesn't know what that is, which I'm assuming is most of our listeners, it's essentially like a spiraling textured dial. Truly done in a gorgeous way. They released the 1908, I think, last year to replace their Cellini dress watch. But this is, I think, the best example of a Rolex dress watch since their vintages. This is, they've done a remarkable job with this.
I love it on its release. It's helpful when they nail it all the way around. I think this could have been put on a bracelet that I would have been like, all right, whatever. I love the brown gator strap that they chose.
Yeah.
I think it complements that dial exceptionally well, the color exceptionally well. I love the second hand, the hour hand with that big circle in the middle. I think it's a great look. Do you have a favorite portion of the watch? What do you think?
I mean, the dial itself is incredible. We've talked about that. Like you said, the big like hollow lollipop dial. I don't know. There's just... Rolex for so long has been sport watch, stainless steel, titanium, platinum, whatever it's going to be. This really is, I think, overall a step back into where their foundation's from. I love the the clear case back. Rolex really does not do display case backs on their watches these days. That's really cool to see. I love getting to view the movement.
Yeah,
it's not the fanciest finished movement out there, but it's clean and it looks nice.
Yeah. The bummer is, and I know it's because it's the platinum model, it's genuinely made out of platinum, the case material. It's priced. I would love to see this in a stainless steel. Give me this in stainless steel at a much more accessible cost. I know that's not Rolex's name. They're never going to do that.
Value watches.
But like, it's 29,000 francs.
Yeah,
for whatever the hell that price is.
What is my ratios, like $50,000 or whatever? I think it's like 30 grand.
Yeah, it's not too far. So off the normal dollar, but it is priced pretty high for kind of a simple dress watch.
Mm-hmm.
But man, do I love the finish of this piece. Like you said, that just all those subtle things. I love uh, the case itself. I love what they did with the uh, oh gosh, chapter ring on the inside. All those extra little indicators is nice.
Yeah.
It's just a subtle finish that I think Rolex really shows where they can truly shine in watches. It's not to say that we don't love some of the other ones, but this is a nice breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Do you have another watch?
Yeah, enough about Rolex. Fuck them. Let's get weird. I want to talk about Chrono Swiss.
Yeah.
This is a brand that I truly know nothing about, so expect at least like a watch news blurb or a deep dive coming soon. They have released what is the craziest looking watch and dial and setup. We really liked, of course, the Rolex 1908 Guilloche dial. The dial on the Chrono Swiss, let me get the full name, Resec Green Monster.
Yeah, that's the one.
It's this like pale seafoam mint green 3D waves, spiraling wave pattern with everything elevated above it. I don't really have a good way to explain the watch, I'm going to be honest. So we're going to put some pictures up probably on the Instagram or YouTube here soon.
Yeah, this will definitely go on as the featured watch with the drop of the episode. It's
really
almost
big crown.
The parts on the inside, it's almost like they did like aftermarket alloy parts, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like if you think about a car, right? When you try to add that one extra piece of like nice alloy to a car, or if you have a really nice bike, right? That's what they put in all of the parts to put kind of, what do you call that? It's not the full movement sitting above it, but it's parts of the movement.
Yeah, like, where you tell the time. It's got the hour hand on a separate subdial at 12, a single hand rotating around the full dial for the minutes, and then a flyback 30-second chronograph, I believe.
Yeah. I love this piece. Absolutely. I love the different look. This is something I've always talked about. I think even in our first episode, this is something that people will come up to you and be like, wow, tell me about
this. What the fuck are you wearing?
Yeah. Power Reserve is a little thin at 55 hours. I've got the specs up for it. It's limited to 100 pieces for the Green Monster in particular.
Fair enough.
But just an incredible piece. I'm sure the finishing's incredible. It looks like all of their finishing is. But, I love the case back. I don't know if you've seen a good photo of the case back yet. It's got all these engravings on it, and you do get to see some of the movement. I'll see if I can drop you a good photo of this. But it is, I think, truly a different looking piece, and why I think anyone can look at this and be like, whoa. I don't know anybody that wouldn't be stunned to see that.
Yeah, this watch really takes me back to the early days of the podcast, where I was just looking for the weirdest and craziest shit. And this Chrono Swiss has delivered hand over fist, or whatever the correct terminology is. We'll absolutely be putting pictures up on the Instagram for this episode drop, because whatever we say, I don't think can do it justice.
Yeah.
So check out Chrono Swiss.
It's meant to have a color changing dial because of the hand guilloche dial texture that they've done. So when you look at it from left to right, it's meant to color shift, if that makes sense.
I would love to see this in action.
Unbelievable. It's supposed to be like a blue-green color shifting watch. I really can't do it justice unless you guys try and find it. Again, it's called the Resec Green Monster from Chrono Swiss. If I could ever recommend a watch to just go look at, that's the one. That's on my bucket list of watches to see in person at this point.
Yeah. So I know one of you listeners is one of the 200 people buying these. Let us know. Send us videos.
Limited to 100. There's only 100.
Oh, 100. I'm sorry.
At least of that one. I'm sure there's a few other Chrono Swiss pieces, but yeah, truly beautiful.
Oh, what else did you see from Watches and Wonders?
Yeah. So there are a few things I'll knock briefly. Not a lot of changes from Tag, another
Tag
Monaco.
It's
another, fine. I thought most of the releases from Cartier, pretty standard.
Yeah.
Nothing
very
special.
Jewelry focused.
A cooler release that I liked in kind of a surprising way. If I look at the watch, I think there's times where I've been like, that's not for me. But in a simple moon phase way, I like the Patek Philippe 5396G, the annual calendar.
Yeah.
I think I like this piece. I think it comes in at a pretty standard Patek Philippe price.
Mm-hmm.
I like the simplicity of this moon phase. I think a lot of times moon phases can get pretty complex, and for a lot of reasons, that's why I love moon phases. It kind of does capture the whole watch. This is a bit more simplified. This, you can wear it. It's one sub-dial. I really like where they put the date. I'm a big fan of the watch all around. What are your thoughts on it?
I don't know. It's hard to really badmouth Patek. First of all, we've never worn them, and there's no reason. Mm-hmm. They're just good quality watches, but I don't have a ton to say about it. It looks like the quality you would expect. It's clean. It's going to be super well finished. It's especially since you're looking at the, what is it, 5396G, right? Is the code?
Yeah. Do you want a hot take while you're looking at that one? If you scroll down a bit, there's two different colors.
Oh, let's see.
I'm a big blue guy, but the peach is a bit better for me.
Interesting. I don't see the peach, and I'm sure that's just my full incompetence with the system.
I got you.
Peach would be the way to go. But I love looking at Pateks that aren't the Nautilus, is what I'm really trying to say.
Yeah.
This is a really clean moon phase pointer date calendar. They've done an awesome job with it. Of course, because it's Patek, I would expect nothing less. Like you said.
Go ahead and check the Discord, Christian.
All right, let's take a look.
A live reaction of this peach. I love where the date is in particular, and the peach one.
Oh, yeah. That's gorgeous. Yeah. That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Sub dial 60 seconds, a full calendar date with what would that be then? Seasonal window at the 4 o'clock marker.
That's what I'm trying.
Patek Philippe experts, let us know what's going on with that complication.
I love this colorway. I love the chapter ring again with those small indices.
Yeah, they've really done a great job.
It's so clean, but in the same way. Again, very different than a typical moon phase, I think. And for that reason, I love it. So,
you know what I think that is? I think that's a GMT function. I think that's the hour for a second time zone.
Got it.
But yeah, Patek, thanks for just honestly coming in clutch.
Yeah, nice hit.
Delivering one great watch after another that isn't a Nautilus.
That's fair.
But if we're going to talk about calendars, we do need to mention the Eternal Calendar from IWC.
Absolutely.
I talked about it in the Watch News video, but it is first of all, I think one of the best looking Portuguesers or watches from IWC in a long time anyway. Mm-hmm. But it is a accurate Gregorian calendar out to 400 years, correctly skipping, or maybe it's correctly skipping like 3 leap years every 400 years, accurate moon phase to 45 million years. I don't know. It's stupid and unnecessary is I think the best way to describe it. And I love it so much. And I need to have one.
All right. Well, good luck with that. It will only deviate by 1 day after 45 million years is the release information on that.
Just what an excellent piece of technological watchmaking. Yeah. They didn't need to do it, but they did it because they could. And that's what I love.
And I'll tell you what, we've been on the pod before, absolutely slandering IWC.
Oh, for sure. They've put out some ridiculous watches, and then they did kind of the same thing Rolex, AP, Patek do, where they put out the same watch a lot. They have spread out a little bit more than the big three, but again, there hasn't been a ton of creativity from them. This is really cool and really unique.
Yeah. I love the way they did the moon phase at the top. I think that's a cool look. Do you have a preference between the black or the white?
Yes, I would take the white 100%. I think you get a better view of the full calendar and the time. The white just looks so clean, especially the way the crystal is domed. So it's got this almost like I was just going to say,
it's that dome crystal that does it for me.
It's the black with the gold accents is nice, but I would wear the white way more.
In a way, the black with the gold accents is a more typical IWC look.
Yeah, it really does.
And because it deviates a bit with this white one, again, you're never going to use the car that goes up to 250 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Ever. Right? We're never going to dive with our watches. Ever. So I understand that it's absolutely ridiculous that this watch can accomplish such an incredible feat for no deviation. 1 day deviation over 45 million years.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see how did they get that number?
That's the thing. I'm pretty sure it was Jeff Bezos who spent $1 billion to put a huge clock in a mountain that's supposed to last about as long as this watch does.
I love that.
I truly cannot imagine, though, how unpleasant it is to reset it if you let the power reserve drop to 0.
Oh my god, yeah.
That would
Do we know what the power reserve on it is?
I don't have it in front of me, but I bet we can find it. While I'm looking this up, do you want to lead us into our next watch?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, that's probably the biggest technical marvel I've seen in a little while from any watch news. And sure enough, to come at Watches and Wonders makes sense. But even previous Watches and Wonders, I think that technical marvel is pretty unbelievable. We did want to get into Long & Son. That's
another nice calendar.
Yeah, another moon phase. They're popular.
Hey, we have a type, and I'm not ashamed about it. It's a 168-hour power reserve on the Eternal calendar, which is impressive.
So you have room to fuck up.
Yeah. As far as the Longa goes, it's by no means the best calendar or moon phase that we've seen today. What they've done, I think, with the honey gold is the way the loom is set up. Have you seen pictures of the loom?
I have seen pictures of the loom, and I will say it almost makes you need the green.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think it's so unique to the honey gold. They released a few different SKUs of this watch. And this honey gold in particular is kind of the right choice for this watch because it truly flashes everything that it's done. I will say it's not my favorite green, and because of that, it's not the watch for me, but I do think a lot of people would find this piece pretty amazing. The tourbillon on the back, case back, is also pretty stunning.
Yeah. That's like, if you want like expert craftsmanship and like a beautiful looking movement, it's impossible to beat Longa. And yeah, the honey gold, the way the green loom shows up is that honey gold is stunning, but you only get to see it at night or in the dark or when you're specifically showing it off. The rest of the time, it's like this clear blue, grayish. It's not bad, but
the two features of the watch that I like the most are things that you'd have to experience the loom in the dark or showing it off.
Yeah.
And I think the case back is unbelievable. Looking at that movement.
So crazy.
More so, like, I know people have seen case back, expedition movements. This is to another level.
It truly is a piece of art.
Yeah, this is pretty amazing. To see everything in the back like that. But again, it's kind of when it's just on the wrist by itself, just wearing it, I think you don't get to see its best features all the time, which that's my one little knock. But it's a pretty amazing piece. It's just, I think, it's got its niche.
Yeah, totally fair.
Yeah.
Should we finish? I think the last one we have to talk about is a moon phase. I don't think we've talked about any moon phases yet.
Well, why don't you add it in? Let's talk about
it. So for the first moon phase we're talking about, we need to talk about the trilobe. I'm going to butcher the name because it's weird.
Oh, yeah.
Huon Exquisite. Whatever.
Just like that.
Yeah.
I'll say this now. It's the polar opposite of the Patek that we mentioned.
Yeah, it's wild. And Trilobe, I think, really came out of the gate strong last year with their huge domed 3-layered watch. This is very similar, but a more toned down version. So it's 3 rotating rings for your hour, your minute, and your moon phase. Each rotates individually. The way it's off-centered, so it's not symmetric. It's just a stunning, like, concentric circle pieced watch. The blue dial that they have is a matte finish, really well done. And then, of course, you've got a moon phase at the very center of the circles.
A little aventurine effect going in.
Yeah, slight aventurine within the moon phase only. Yeah. The rest of the dial is just this pure matte blue.
Yeah, the press release for this watch, I think, does the best job kind of explaining the piece. Mm-hmm. It's meant to seem like a celestial waltz with the two moons as everything kind of spins around to align for your time telling. And that really is what it is. It's a bit of again, very different than the typical, 3-6-9 typical watch format. This is a very out there piece, polar opposite to the Patek. But this is a pretty exceptional, God.
Yeah, it's so cool, right? Have you seen the case back yet?
I am looking at it right now.
Polar opposite of the Patek, we're stepping away from a lot of what the other brands are doing. It's a very toned down case, still well finished, but it's minimalist. You've got a micro rotor. Yeah. Even the little details, like for your water resistance, you've got a little duck engraved into the edge of the back. Yeah. What they've done, Trilobe is doing awesome stuff. These are very limited watches. I think it's 100 pieces, but absolutely check out some pictures. I think we'll probably do a picture of this for the thumbnail as well.
Yeah, I think this is definitely going to be an eye grabber. Yeah. All right, well, we've recapped a whole bunch of watches, and maybe not nearly enough, honestly, for Watches and Wonders. It's a truly incredible event. There's a ton of information out there. But, Christian, I'm going to put you on the hot seat.
Yeah.
Favorite watch, Watches and Wonders.
Oh, God. I think it is this Trilobe. I looked at a lot of watches when it was first happening, especially like for the video that I did on our YouTube channel that came out that same week. This Trilobe really is my favorite. Okay. It's subtle, but it's unique. It's well designed. Yeah, I love everything about it, truly. How about you?
And only shown to me today, so maybe a little recency bias, but man, the Chrono Swiss Reset Green Monster.
Right? Yeah.
It combines things that I just don't see anywhere else. Again, with the dial, it's so incredibly unique. Its lume is unbelievable. Mm-hmm. Those weird alloy parts that sit above the dial. It's just such a different piece. And that's what I really love and look for in some of these.
Absolutely. Is this a watch you think you would wear daily?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. I would wear this so that everyone saw it.
I don't think I would ever take it off.
Yeah, this watch, and it's on that hopefully comfortable green rubber strap. But I think, again, it's a sportier watch. It's meant to go out. It's sapphire crystal, titanium case. I want people to see this as much as possible. Would I be annoyed trying to pair it in an outfit?
See, probably. That's the thing, though. If you're wearing a watch like this, fuck whatever outfit you're wearing. Put it on no matter what.
Yeah, I think you just wear neutral colors and say watch does the rest.
A lot of black, whites, and grays.
Well, you can get away with blue because there's blue.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and that's pretty much my wardrobe right there. Blue, black, white, gray.
Yeah.
When's the last time you saw me wear a green shirt?
Hey, fair enough.
St. Patrick's Day doesn't count.
Well, yeah, I think that's all we've got for our anniversary episode. Will, is there anything else? As I throw my mic around, is there anything else you want to talk about?
No, I think we're pretty close back to that 30-minute mark. I think this time frame still works the best, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I hope you guys have enjoyed the year that we've gone through.
Thank you all so much for listening.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. We're going to keep putting out content. Please give us any feedback that you have. Hunter sucks, and that's why he's not here today.
Yeah, he'll probably be back next week. I don't know if I will be here, so have fun.
I don't know. Could that guy? Maybe I'll just do an episode by myself. I've made it to every episode. I did.
You're the only one.
Yeah.
Admittedly, I have a good excuse.
Yeah, you do have a kid. Kid writes. What's Hunter doing?
Hunter's got nothing going on.
Yeah. That guy's just.
It's 11 p.m. on a Wednesday. All right. Again, thank you all so much. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.